Right, look at that. This is the same afternoon. It is now 4 o'clock, and you can tell all of those guys that I sprayed this morning are croaking. Let's try to get a better shot. You see it there? Properly toasted. You can see how they thinned out the grass quite a lot as well just by being there, hey? It shows you keep your turf dense. That'll help put pressure on the weeds and you won't have to have this situation. Alright. Much better recovery. Goeiemorgen mense. Alright, so yesterday morning, so Friday morning, 6 a.m, I came out here and sprayed this entire lawn area and some of the flower beds with just plain old super lawn weeder, which is available at just about any nursery in the country. And I applied it at 70 mils per 100 square meters. That was in 4 liters of water. And that's a pretty hefty dose. Be careful of applying that kind of heavy dose on Alem and Berea. Although I did it to my Alem over there. So in a couple of days, maybe even a week or two, we'll see the true damage, if any. I'll be able to report back on that. But for now, have a look at the damage as it currently stands. So this is a solid 24 hours later. You can tell the grass still perfectly green, and all this little haze of a dirty look all over the place. That is the oxalis on its way out. There's a really good shot of how it looks, and that's 24 hours. Now the way that I approached this was I sprayed this side nice and early, put the dogs in the house. Later on in the morning, when this had dried out, my wife let the dogs back onto this side. When I got home from work, I did the other side of the house. So dogs and pets off the lawn while the poison is still wet. When it dries out, it becomes less effective, and then you can put your pets back onto the lawn, or your kids. And when applying any IDE, so herbicide, pesticide, fungicide, make sure to at least wear a mask. Wear all the PPE that you can get your hands on, at least like what you would have seen in the video. I wore some old pants, some old boots, long sleeve shirts, some gloves, and the most important thing from my side of things is a mask. There's always a bit of vapor. No matter how well you tuned your sprayer, there's always a vapor that's cruising around. That's also another reason that you want to do it nice and early in the morning. It tends to be less wind. You don't want it spraying out into your flower beds, but more importantly, you don't want it spraying into your mouth, into your nose, and getting in your eyes, because then it very quickly absorbs into your system. So I think that's pretty straightforward. You can get other safety information from the leaflet of the product that you end up using. But man, my advice, always wear a mask if you're spraying a herbicide, fungicide, pesticide, or insecticide. Anything that ends in IDE, wear a mask. And of course, a mask that is rated for these kinds of vapors, man, not your buff. Okay, and then as I said in the previous video, it's always a good idea to put down a fertilizer a couple of days before you actually decide to do a herbicide application, just to try and help the grass out of the stressful situation. I haven't done that yet, and I realized that next month, beginning of March, is when I'm due to apply the fertilizer for the beginning of autumn feed. So I'm just going to leave it until next week, which means that in the next couple of videos you'll see a little bit more damage, which could have been avoided by putting down a fertilizer early enough. But I reckon what I'll do to try and save this is tomorrow afternoon when I mow, then I'll just give this a good dose of water, and I might give it a light foliar feed, or at least some kind of a drench with something lightweight fertilizer wise. Next weekend we give it some granular again. Final observations. Herbicides, post-emergent herbicide, is generally a little bit less effective in the shade or in cooler areas, as opposed to in the sun where it bakes and cooks out. So even though you can see that I've got really good damage on the weeds right now, and obviously the grass is therefore getting slightly more baked as well in the shade, it will take longer. In fact, super lawn weeder will take, man, even up to 3 weeks to be fully effective. Don't think that you covered everything. You may have missed some parts, and those parts probably won't die. So if you see weeds aren't dying after applying it as close to correctly as possible, it is probably your fault and not the herbicides. You didn't mix it properly, or you didn't spray properly, or something like that. It's not the herbicide's fault 99% of the time. But the other portion of weeds not dying as fast or quickly is shade and temperature. Now if you look at mine, we'll call this the last observation until I record again tomorrow when I mow. The weeds are dying, as you can clearly tell. The seeds that dropped off those little yellow flowers, remember I said that those little yellow flowers house as many as 50 seeds in each. Those seeds haven't died from this. they have just dropped back down into the ground. So these guys will grow back. And the professional way of preventing these weed seeds or these weeds from growing is by putting down a pre-emergent herbicide for warm season grasses and these range of weeds. It'll be something like Pennant Magnum. Unfortunately, in South Africa, it's a little bit expensive to buy that kind of stuff. So what you can do is just in 21 to 28 days, you apply Super Lawn Weeder again, and then another 21 to 28 days after that. So 3 applications in a row, about 3 months apart. You apply again, and that should get rid of the brunt of it all. So application 1 nails all the guys on the surface. Application 2 catches all those little seeds that were in the process of germinating basically right now. They'll come up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You then clop them again, and any seed heads that may have come up after that, or any seeds that may want to germinate after that, you smack them again before they develop the little flower with seeds on them with application number 3. It's enough talking. Tomorrow we mow and maybe fert. Alright, not looking bad. I'm about to give it a mow. I just realized that I haven't charged my battery, and we're now in load shedding, and by the time we're done with load shedding it'll be dark. So let's see if we get this video finished. Okay, before the battery dies, let's just catch a little bit of a glimpse on what some of the brown is that you guys are looking at. So let's find a good patch. Yeah, there we go. So there you can see that discoloration. That is all dying oxalis still. There's a few bits and pieces that are still green, like that guy over there. But at the very least, we're not seeing any more flowering. But definitely here in the shade where the grass is, tends to be thinner, it's smothered. That oxalis has smothered the kikuyu. That, I've got good turf. I've got good dense turf up here, and really thin turf down here, and that's mostly shade. And obviously weeds giving it stick. Now these little green guys, remember what I said yesterday is that, look at how much it is. These guys will still take 2 to 3 weeks to die. So even though there's a very good initial result, that's not the result. The result, 2 to 3 weeks later, the rest of these guys, or at least the vast majority of them, will die. And that's why you do a second and a third application. And if you've got the money for it, you put down something like Pennant Magnum. So I'm just going to mow the rest. Hopefully we've got enough battery to film some more afterwards. If not, cheers. Alright, not bad. Oh, this thing just told me I just did 10,000 steps now on this little patch mowing the lawn. Anyway, as you can see there, not looking too bad. The brown patches are just the dying oxalis. I haven't put down any fertilizer yet, and I don't think I will in this video because the wind has just started pumping. So for me to try and spray, whether it's with a backpack sprayer or the hose end sprayer, is just a waste of time. You're going to be blowing it into your mouth and everywhere other than where you're trying to aim for. So we'll leave this for now. Maybe tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, sometime between now and the next video, I'll get some fert out here so that we can try and see some form of or shape of recovery, type of recovery. Unfit, so losing words, brain not functioning. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Ask questions if you're not sure about anything, and if I've forgotten stuff in this video, I think I might have forgotten a few things. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Here's just another close-up shot where I double and even tripled applied. You can see that whilst it really did absolutely roast these guys, it also roasted the grass. So over application, in other words not following the application rate, means that you're going to damage your grass a bit as well. But you know what? So what? Grass will recover, it will grow out, you mow out all the crappy looking parts, give it some fert, all that good stuff, mow water fert, weeds be gone, and you carry on with life.